Hi, welcome to Smeester's Corner. My name is Adam Smeester, or as my students call me, Mr. Smeester. Today's topic, we're going to be discussing how good of a communicator are you? All of this comes from the book Keep Your Love On, which is about relationships. There are 4 communication styles that we're going to discuss. The first 3 are not so great. They will probably cause harm and destruction in your relationships, or maybe to yourself. The 4th one is the best kind of communicator, and so we're going to discuss that one a little bit more. But let's discuss the first 3. One question people have is, why do I need to be a good communicator? Everyone has needs, and you need to be able to know what your needs are and communicate those so other people can fulfill your needs, okay, especially in a relationship. The other reason is we all live in a society together, and to live in a civil society, you need to be able to communicate. All right, so let's talk about the styles. The first style of communication is called the aggressor, or the aggressive communicator. The aggressive communicator takes charge, but also demands things of other people. So say you're wondering where to go to eat. The aggressive communicator might say, hey, we're going here. And people are like, okay, I don't know, I don't really care. And they're like, no, here's where we're going. This is what I feel like. This is what we're doing. The reason that that's not so great is because the aggressive communicator gets their needs met, but everybody else does not. All the communication styles communicate something. So this communicates to others that I matter, you don't. This is motivated by fear and selfishness because they need to get their needs met, which means they need to be in control. Because if they're not in control, how are they going to get their needs met? This may start to inspire anxiety in other people towards you. It eliminates intimacy. People might become kind of scared of you, like they're walking on eggshells. They might not tell you what they really want. This is all going to start to lead others to resent you, which is not good, and you don't want that. The other type of communication style is the passive type of communication style. So this was me. Most of my life, I was very passive, but I thought I was doing it because I was strong. So this is when the passive person says to other people, oh, don't worry, do whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me. It's no big deal. This is not good because the passive person never gets their needs met and always ends up meeting the needs of other people and they get their needs met. This communicates, you matter, but I don't. That's what it ends up communicating to people. This is motivated by fear because you're scared that it's going to cause conflict. And so you don't cause conflict, you end up lying about what your needs are all the time, and then you have to keep lying to yourself, and you don't realize that you're lying, you just keep doing it. You end up telling yourself that you're just a servant, you're keeping the peace, I can handle it because I'm a strong person, so I'm just going to meet other needs other than my own. The problem with this is people never know the truth about you, and eventually you're going to run out of giving. So if you're a glass and you just keep giving and giving and giving, you never get filled up because your needs never get met. So the glass never gets filled up. Eventually, you're going to run out and you're going to start to be a bitter person, possibly. Other people might actually end up resenting you too because you just end up becoming a doormat for everybody else. And that's what it ends up becoming is just you're a doormat. People don't respect you because you never stand up for yourself and you never say what you want. So people just bulldoze you all the time. I've seen teachers who are really passive and they just get killed by the kids because the kids say, well, hey, if you're not going to tell me how to act and you're not going to enforce it, I'll act how I want to act. And things are chaos. The third communication style is called the passive-aggressive communication style. To me, this one is the worst. This is when the person has indirect hostility or resistance to other people. To get their needs met, they will let people know that there's a problem, but they never will let them know what the problem actually is. So someone might be kind of moping around sometimes and you're finally like, dude, are you okay? They're like, I'm fine. So they're letting you know that there's a problem, but they're not going to tell you what it is. This is bad because nobody gets their needs met. So this communicates, you matter, not really. This one is the worst for me because it relies on manipulation to punish or deceive so that the person could get their needs met. And really all that they're doing is they're wanting a person to act a certain way or they're wanting them to feel a certain way. So here's another example. I've seen this one before where someone will say, there's 2 people dating. One person will say, hey, what's the matter? And the other person will say, well, if you don't even know by now, I don't even know what we're doing together. It's like, oh man. So passive aggressive people a lot of time can seem very funny, very bubbly, very smiley, very nice. But then behind closed doors, They're kind of a wreck and they drive people crazy. These people a lot of times will use cutting sarcasm, veiled threats like to end the relationship, or they withhold love. And if you want your relationship to go down the tube real quick, just start withholding love and affection. They might give you the silent treatment. This is motivated by fear, insecurity, the need to feel in control, the fear of being vulnerable, the fear of being wrong. This will inspire fear, resentment, anxiety, people withholding from you in whatever capacity, withholding love, withholding their thoughts, withholding their feelings, because we're always walking on eggshells because they're not really sure how you're going to react to things. So this brings us to number 4. So how should you communicate if you can't do any of these 3? Well, the 4th one is called being assertive. This comes from a place of strength and power. This is when a person directly says, hey, here's what my needs are. And they directly ask, all right, hey, how can I meet your needs? This is a good thing because both people get their needs met. And it communicates, I matter, and so do you. It inspires confidence, stability, trust, peace, strength, and respect. All of those things, which is great to have in a relationship. An assertive person is not afraid to show you their vulnerable side or to be vulnerable with another person. And they're not afraid of the strength of others. In fact, they insist on other people showing them their strength. Aggressive and passive aggressive people a lot of times are afraid of and will be threatened by the strength of another. Assertive people insist on it. So if an assertive person is communicating with a passive person, the passive person might say, oh, well, it doesn't matter, I don't really care. The assertive person might say, yeah, well, I really want to know, like, what do you want to do? And they'll try to pull it out of them, okay? Or if something went wrong, they'll say, oh, it doesn't matter, it's no big deal. They'll say, no, tell me what's wrong. I want to know. I want to know how to meet your needs. If an assertive person is communicating with an aggressive person and the other person starts being aggressive, the assertive person will say, hey, we can have this talk later when you start being respectful. When an assertive person is communicating with a passive aggressive person, the assertive person might say, hey, you know what? We can have this conversation later when you decide to tell me what's really going on. This has actually happened to me where there was a person who was being super passive aggressive and they were just wanting me to follow them around and say, what's wrong? What'd I do? Oh, I'm so sorry. What happened? And I wasn't going to do that. So I just said, hey, talk to me later when you're willing to talk. But until then, I'll see you later. But here's the secret to being assertive. To get your needs met, you have to know what they are, which means you have to know what your needs are. If you don't know what your needs are, people typically go to other sources to get their needs met, and that could come from in a variety of ways. They may turn to drugs, sex, porn, shopping, sports, video games, all of these external things to fill them up, to fill that cup up, because they don't know what their needs are. Now, the first time that I ever read about this and I had to think about what my needs were, I had no idea. I had no idea what my needs were. It took me like 2 years of thinking about it to figure out what are my needs from another person in a relationship. Not what do I need from this specific person, but just what do I need in general in a relationship. It turns out, because I had been single for a long time and kind of lived on my own for a long time and always been the third wheel, that what I needed to feel was not feeling like I'm alone. And that's what my needs are. And now I can communicate that to my wife or my girlfriend at the time, and she can try to meet those needs. So, trying to be an assertive person the best you can. Those other 3, if you find yourself falling in one of those 3 first categories, really try to work on that, because it's going to cause a lot of turmoil in a relationship. All right? So, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.